again. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and Kristen today. Kristen is we're going to have a conversation about her near-death experience, talk about everything in and out, around it, upside down. And I also want to make sure that I say, really go to her website, Kristen, and it's Kristen, Phillips, PHILLIPS.com. She's going to be you travel from Maine to New Jersey. So there's going to be some outdoor shots that she's going to be putting up for sale. So definitely go there. I'm super excited to have you here today, Kristen. Love the roses behind you. They're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you so much for being willing to talk to us about your near-death experience. I think it's pretty wonderful that people are going to have a chance to really hear about the other side and kind of conceptualize what their loved ones would be like there and what they'll be like for them. So thank you. How do you want to just tell me, let's go from the beginning.
Well, I was curious about that. I was like, do you want to hear about the accident or, like how it happened?
Well, I want to hear all of it. I want to know, like, beforehand, let's kind of go even further than that. What did you think about the other side prior to any of this happening?
I don't think that I was necessarily aware of it to the context that I am now.
Uh-huh.
I think it was just more of like, something out of the corner of your eye or something that you hear or something I used to do as a kid that I just didn't make sense, that I thought it was something that kids do.
Right.
So now being on the other side, being like, oh, wow, it's like a whole nother, dimension and a place that, people are.
That's exciting. I mean, I'm really curious. So what happened the day? How about you just walk me through your day? What happened? What were you doing?
My friends are graduating high school and we were at their project graduation afterwards and we went out for dinner and then we're like, let's go to Portland. And everybody wanted to go, but they had been drinking. And I had a permit at the time. I didn't even have my license.
Okay.
So we packed. I even have pictures of the car.
Do you really?
Let's see.
Holy cow.
This is the car. So
what kind of car is that?
A Buick Skylark.
Okay.
So was one person in this hatchback. There was 3 in the back and 3 in the front. And then so I was right here.
Wow.
And then so I have, sort of like my Harry Potter and it comes all the way back and ends up over on that side. So yeah, I don't know. I have these all in a really nice book. So you can see we landed upside down in some trees on the side of the highway. I hit the rumple strips and the ball joint came out of the front.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah. So you can kind of see there's some so this is the road.
Okay. I've driven that road. I
have. And then skid marks for me trying to stop. And then that was me surgery.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at your head.
Yeah.
So that was after, so you had surgery after.
Yeah, it's at that day. They had to stitch it all up.
Oh my gosh. Are those staples too?
Yeah, they're all staples.
They're
stitches
all staples.
And staples. And this is from the surgeon.
Holy cow. I'm gonna have to make sure that people know it's graphic. Okay. I'll make sure that it's graphic, everybody.
The next one you might not, it's really graphic.
Okay, don't show that one then.
It's basically this whole thing open and you can see my bones and everything.
Okay, you had to show, after we're done recording, you'll show it to me. Just okay. We won't put it up on YouTube. We'll just talk about it here, you and me, okay? So you decide to drive because everybody's drinking.
And I decided, I was like, I'll do it.
7 of you in that hatchback.
Yeah.
7 of you in that hatchback.
7 of us in the hatchback. And over the years, I've talked to everybody that was in the car, and we all have such a different version of the accident, which has been mind-blowing to me on how everybody has their own theory and whatever they were doing and what was going through their own heads during the accident.
Well, everybody lives their own reality. You know, you and I are in 2 different worlds, even though it looks like we're in the same world.
Right.
Right. So it's so great. So what an amazing lesson, lesson or understanding to get is so wait, are you telling me everybody lived?
Yes.
Everyone lived,
Yeah, I was the worst condition out of all of it.
but everybody lived.
Everybody lived.
That's really mind-blowing from the pictures that you just showed
Yeah.
us.
It was so when it flipped 3 or 4 times.
Uh-huh.
And one person flew out the sunroof, so she landed like in the trees. The guy in the front seat had a broken right clavicle and abrasions to the face, and I only know that because he kept saying it over and over again.
What do you, like?
And then the 3 in the back were so squished. And then the one in the hatchback, right before we crashed, he was like, well, I better brace myself. And he's like, in case we crash. And then we crashed.
And then we crashed.
And so
he said that out loud?
Yeah, he said it out loud, and he had like braced himself because he was in the hatchback, you know? So he was like, if we crash, I'm screwed. So he grabbed on. And so when we flipped, he held on until like, a couple flips and then had dropped out.
Well, tell me that he didn't have somebody looking out over him where he's like,
I mean,
heard it.
We all did. And everybody's lives changed in a different way from that accident.
Oh my God. We might be here longer than an hour. I'm making a prediction here right now. You've got a lot to say. So, okay. So you said the ball joint came out of the tire.
The ball joint fell out, and then it was basically when it hit the rumble strips, it didn't have control, so it just kind of kept going bloom, 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 and then went flip, 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 poof.
So you flipped 3 times.
Yeah.
Do you remember each flip? What was going through? Tell me like what was going through your mind? The ball joint goes and you start to lose control.
And I didn't even know what a ball joint, I didn't know that. I just knew that all of a sudden we're spinning and then we're flipping. And it was
let's back up. So the ball joint is where the tire goes, where the joint goes into the tire.
Right.
Right. So the tire is able to kind of, move. And be in control. Okay. Right. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. People are going to get mad about me interrupting you.
Like in Maine, there was a while where you didn't really have to like get approved for your stickers. Like you could drive a car, whatever condition it was. It wasn't this big ordeal. And people could put fake stickers, or you could just pay your buddy to put a sticker on there. So the car really wasn't in the shape to be driving 7 people on a highway, going 70 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. So I bet you now those rules have changed.
Yeah, those rules have changed. It was astonishing, when we flipped. So it was just a really loud crash. It was just like an earthquake inside. Uh-huh. And I just remember clenching onto the steering wheel so hard that I had I had held on so tight I cut my hands.
Wow.
From holding on so tight. And I'm sure if I didn't do that, I may not be alive because, the things that happened with my head, if I had let go, I probably would have just tossed around and, may not be here. But I clenched on, and then we landed upside down. And all I kept thinking of was like, somebody probably was smoking a cigarette. I probably should get out of this thing. I was just thinking of the big, movies of like, boom.
Right.
Like gas leaks, you blow up. I was like, I need to get out. And so I was upside down, or if we were upside down, and I'm like trying to crawl out of the car. And I was the last one, and like my friends were standing there, and they helped me come out, and they were just looking at me. And I was like, what? Where's everybody? Where's everybody? And they were just like staring at me. They're like, you got to lay down. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, where's everybody? Like, my biggest fear is that I killed someone.
Right.
It was really what was going through my head was like, I've killed somebody. Please tell me everybody's okay. And so within like, I don't know how long it was there, I was like, well, where's everybody? And then all of a sudden the adrenaline let go, and it was like a cracked egg of just blood. And I was like, whew. And I didn't even pass out. It was just more of like a faint to the ground. Mm. And then I like look up, and like everyone's taking off their shirts, trying to cover my head. And they were like, I was like, what's wrong? And they were like, you've got a cut. And I was like, okay. I was like, I've got a cut. And so my friend took off his shirt, and I was like yelling. We were kind of yelling where everybody was. And they were like, Charity, we found Charity. She was the one that flew out the sunroof. Mm-hmm. And somebody like they were holding, there was two of my friends that was standing by my head, and they like let go, and they went to go walk away, and I put my hand on my head.
Oh.
And I said, it's not a fucking scratch, guys. Like, what the hell is that? You know, I could feel, you know, I mean, it was dirt and I could feel bone.
Yeah.
And so the ambulance came because somebody across that was going the opposite way on the highway saw us, called 911. So the ambulance came rather quickly because this was pager time. You know, we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
You know, we may have had the big thing in the glove box, but I didn't. And so everybody ended up being okay. The ambulance came. They put me in the ambulance. I had on these like hot silver pants that I loved. I got from Express. They were like, oh, so sexy with this like black leather vest on. Like I was dead sexy, you know. Like, and the guy, we were in the ambulance, and he was like, I got to cut your pants off. And I was like, no, you can't. And so I start flailing my legs around, you know.
To try and get him to stop.
So try to get them to, you know, not cut my pants off. Yeah, so then he cut off the top, and he, you know, he asked me for my mother's number, and well, he said, you know, who should we call? And I like rattled off her number, and I told her which hospital to go to, and he was just so surprised that even through everything that I was. So there was a moment that I don't quite remember, you know, obviously being on the ground. So when when I passed out, fainted, you know, went down, and then sort of was like woke up and everybody's around me, you know, that was intense. But I think waking up inside the car was the, you know, me just backtracking. So like in the car, because everybody else had gotten out, and I was still in the car.
Oh, everybody was already out.
Yep.
You're passed out in the car. Everybody's freaking out.
Right. Everybody's freaking out. I'm still in the car. And, you know, when I woke up, it was sort of like, you know, that's when I started thinking the car was going to blow up.
Right.
So, because the car was so squished, they said they pulled me out of the passenger side because you could see my side was just scrunched. And then they pulled me out. And one of my friends had said that it was like a scary movie, you know, where you have the flashlight under your face. The dome light was like shining my face, and all she could see was my head coming out first.
Wow.
And I was like moving, you know, like it was trying to get out of the car like as fast as possible. Right.
I would be worried. That's probably exactly the same thing I'd be thinking. Like, I got to get out of this before it blows up.
Yeah. So it had to have been sometime, because the three in the back were squished like sardines, and then everyone else had gotten out. So it was, you know, yeah.
So you wake up, so you're in the ambulance talking to the EMT, telling, you know, yeah, I mean, it's quite shocking because normally people would pass out, faint, hit the ground,
right,
and not remember anything until they woke up again at the hospital.
Right.
So
he was so impressed that he came back from his runs and stayed by my bed.
Wow.
Like he was so impressed by the state that I was in, the state of the car, you know, everything. He wanted to make sure that I was okay, you know.
Right. And
he brought me some kind of plant, a plant for the side of the window.
You still have the plant? No.
No.
Did he cut the pants off, or were you able to save the pants?
The pants, I saved the pants, but I could never wear them again.
Oh, never wear them again.
I just couldn't. There was red marks on them from the car, from getting pulled out from the car. So the paint was like stuck on my pants.
Oh.
So the silver, beautiful pants, you know, like I had them, and I finally had a friend, and I was like, can you just take them? I can't, I just can't wear them.
Well, I'm so sorry about that. I know what it's like to get a pair of pants that you like or in love with.
Yeah.
So you go to the hospital, and what happens? So you're on your way, your mom's coming, he's calling, or somebody's calling, and you go to the hospital. What happens next?
I was there. So my mom So that we come in, and I can't remember if she came in first or what. I remember like kind of seeing some people on the, as I was going in, people were already there, like other family members were there. Not my family, but people from the other
Oh. Mm-hmm.
hospital. So when I came in, they were just sort of like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I don't know how anybody knew, it feels like that would have been a long time for me to have taken to get there.
Yeah.
So I'm in the hospital, and I'm just kind of laying there, just trying to absorb the whole thing, still trying to accept the fact that everybody's alive. I'm not really sure about my head. Wasn't really sure if I was paralyzed. I wasn't quite sure like what was happening on my body, because I couldn't, even though I was kicking my legs around, that was just out of vanity, like, give me my pants.
That's hilarious.
So my mom comes in, and I can't remember who was next to me. It might have been just a nurse or something, or maybe the ambulance guy was there waiting for her to get there. And she walks in the door, and then I start crying because I was so ashamed that I had crashed a car, and that I had caused this accident with all of these people, and here I am in the hospital, and that's how I felt inside. I was just crying. She was like, I just kept saying I'm sorry. And so she came, and I just they wouldn't let me like sleep because of the concussion,
right,
head trauma. And so I kind of kept going in and out of consciousness of like being in the room and not in the room. Like I remember like trying to close my eyes, and then it felt like every time I closed my eyes, it was like a dark space, it was like a like a dark room, and I was like, I kept kind of getting like sucked into it, of this dark room, and then I would kind of come back out, and it would be like, whoa, okay, we're back in like lights and hospital space. And so they cleaned it all up, they scrubbed it.
Were you awake for that?
The whole thing.
Oh my gosh, Christine.
So they had to keep changing the pillowcases.
Christine, that's horrible. I know I just called you Christine. I just want, it was for effect. Christine, I cannot believe you were awake for that.
Kristen,
that's right. Let me mess it up. Okay, I can't believe you were awake. That's insane.
Yeah, I was awake. They had to put the first needle was, to numb it, was in between here, and it felt like my whole head was caving in. So they put like needle, to numb it. But it felt like it went straight through the skull. Like, I mean, it hurt so bad.
Wow.
And then they scrubbed it, and then so they asked for I was like begging them not to cut my hair and shave it off. And they had a plastic surgeon come in, and he's like talking shop and like, hey, what do you want to do with this? And what do you want to be when you get out of high school? And, all of these things. And I was like, I don't really want to talk right now. Like, please stop. And I ended up running into him later down the road, and that's how I got the pictures.
Oh, wow.
From him. I was a manager of a video store, and he came in and he gave me this weird look. And the next time he came in, he gave me this weird look again. I was like, you look familiar. And he was like, yeah, I was your surgeon, He was like, you look great. This
yeah.
so good,
Right. The last time he saw you. Well, so so you keep getting sucked into this black room.
Yeah.
And then what happens? When do you so obviously through all of this, you haven't crossed over to the other side.
Right. It wasn't until I was home.
You were home.
I was home.
So you had surgery.
Yep.
They stapled you all up. They got you back together. The plastic surgeon was marveling at his work later on.
Yeah.
And you leave. How long do you stay in the hospital?
Not very long.
Not very long.
I feel like it was the next morning we left, because we went through McDonald's because my boss didn't believe me that I was in an accident, and we came through drive-through. It was my first job.
Yeah, Gen X. I mean, the whole Gen X, generation is like, you better give me proof. F all that. I don't believe you for a second.
Yeah, they didn't believe me. Yeah, right. And so I went through drive-through, got a shake or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really eat anything. So it wasn't until I got home that things got really interesting, to the point where I was like talking to people in my room, and my mom is like, well, your friends are coming over. And I said, well, I have people here now. And she was like, what do you mean? She was like, nobody's here. And I was like, yeah, there's 3 guys here. And she was like, nobody's here. And like there was 3 guys in my room, you know, for like days. It felt like days. They kind of kept coming and going.
What did they look like?
They were,
Oh my gosh,
well,
hang on a second. Riley is barking at something. Hang on. I'm gonna pause this. We'll see if he stopped barking now. Okay, so so do you remember what the guys in your room looked like? There were 3 different people or the same people?
I think they were different people because they were different heights.
Okay.
But they were in black cloaks.
Okay.
And because I remember them like kneeling next to me. I remember them standing by my bed. They kind of like moved around my room.
Did they talk to you?
Yeah, they talked to me. I think we were just having like conversations about things. I don't quite remember what the conversations were, but
Mm-hmm.
my mom came in when she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, the 3 guys.
Don't you see them?
Like, there's 3 people here. And she was like, no, there's not. And I remember just like pausing, thinking like, what do you mean no one's here? I was like, this can't be, that's not real. Like, people are here. Like, you don't see that, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so my friends came and I said, well, I have to say bye to my friends. And she's like, they're just coming in the door. I'm like, no, they're here. Like, it was.
Did they respond? Did they try and like calm you? Did they say anything?
Well, I think, oh, you mean my family?
No. The 3 guys.
The 3 guys. I think when my mom said, you know, my friends are here, I have to say bye, they just kind of vanished. And then I was like, but they were, you know, here.
Where'd they go?
You know, and then I kind of like got up to see my friends that had come over to visit. And I just remember being like, thinking in my head, like, there's still 3 people in my room, you know, like, where did they go? Like, I just kept not understanding like how there was people. No one knew that they were there.
Yeah.
And so I remember trying to explain it to my friends, and I was like, well, there's somebody here. They're like, I don't think anybody's here, Kristen. And so since then it changed my hearing.
Oh, tell me about that.
So I used to be able to just hear conversations. I could hear answers to questions. Like, I would be thinking, oh, I got to call this person and you know, ask them about what they're doing this weekend. And then I would hear some answer in my head, and then I called them and they would say exactly what I heard in my head.
Oh.
Like, oh, that's really weird. And like little things like that would always be happening, to the point where I was starting to become really aware of it and was like, okay, something's wrong here.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, I still do it. I ended up taking a psychic training years later.
Uh-huh.
And she basically had explained it as like, you know, gatekeepers. You know, you just got to tell them that you don't want to open those doors all the time.
Right.
Because I could hear, it would freak out people on, you know, friends that I would be sitting with. I could just tell them a message about something and they were like, what do you, like, why did you just say that? I'm like, I don't know. I just thought I had to say it. So even dating, you know, a guy would be saying something and I'd be like, oh, well, that's because your sister, da 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 da. And he was like,
how did you know that? I gotta go.
Bye.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
They would just stop and I would be like, oh, that's not like common knowledge, you know?
Okay, so you knew things, you were just understood.
Yeah.
And you would hear it and it, you know, and then say it. So now you've closed it down a little bit or all the way. Have you closed it all the way?
Well, I learned, I learned how to close it down. Okay. But then I took a shamanic apprenticeship. I did that for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And the healing world just comes really naturally to me. I've been doing massage as well for 21 years. Mm-hmm. And I used to be able to massage, like people would get on the table. I would just sit with them for a minute and I would just like visually like scan their body and I could feel where I needed to work. And people would be like, well, why'd you work there? It wasn't where it hurt. I'm like, I don't know. I just worked there. And so it just kind of became this, you know.
Right. And okay, so your friends come, the guys are still in your room.
Right.
actually, you leave your room
Yeah.
to go down. Is it downstairs to see your real friend?
Just out the kitchen. Yeah, just out the door.
You just go out the door. You actually get up from your bed after this accident. The next day, you go out and you talk to your friends.
I don't know if it was the next day. It was like, I don't know the days wise. I don't know exactly.
Right, good point. Good point.
I
A
don't
week
know.
later, you
Yeah,
still
like,
got up out of your bed. They didn't just come into your room?
oh, they were so mad that I got up. They were like, Kristen, stop. Let us help you. And like, I went to the bathroom and I go, I'm fine, guys. And then I pass out.
Wait. Okay. Oh my God. I absolutely love you. I love you. I want you to know that. I love you because I feel like we're kindred spirits. I would try to do the same shit if I were you. I would be like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Fine. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I got this.
Literally, like, pass out.
So, so you go talk to them and then you pass out in the bathroom. What happens?
Down the bathroom. They basically have to like wake me off the floor. They're like, we're gonna go, and I'm like, no. Like, we brought you chocolate. I'm like, sweet. So they brought me my favorite like pudding pie from Denny's. You know, it was like my favorite thing. And so I know I tried to sit at the table, but I just couldn't eat. You know, I was like, this is great. I don't even know what I ate or how I ate. I feel like I was in this like zone for quite a long time.
I bet.
And then just being back in my room, you know, it was just like, all right, lay back down.
Right. So so what happens next? I mean, obviously time is whatever time is. It's crazy. So
yeah, time is relative.
When you came back to your room, were the three guys there?
I don't know if they were there that moment because I remember crying because they weren't there at first.
Oh.
And I remember being so sad and so confused, and I was like, because I think they were trying to console me.
Uh-huh.
When I was first, you know, like in bed and trying to figure it all out. I think they were trying to console me. And when I came, I was really upset because I thought they left me, you know, because I told my mom about it and she didn't believe me that they didn't come back. So then I was crying because I thought that I did something wrong again, you know, like, did I do something wrong? Should I not have said anything? You know, like I was really upset because I was confused that initially that they weren't really there.
Right.
Because it was like palpable, you know, that they were there.
Right. Did they come back after that?
I think they came back a long time later.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it being like right away. I think I remember like seeing them and they didn't talk to me. You know, I think they were just in the doorway. And I felt like it was like they were just checking on me. And then they left.
You know, Kristen, what is striking to me is so many NDE interviews that I talk to always talk about like 3 men being at the end of the bed, 3 men that came, 3 men that were like always 3. I know that in my lifetime, and even my sister and I shared a room, we had 3 men that would show up in our room. Be like, do you see them? Yeah, I see them. You see them? Like, we see these. What are they here for? We don't know. These 3 dudes. So
that's so funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting. So I want you to know that you're not alone in seeing them.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. So I think that like, they were absolutely there. You know, I think you're absolutely right. Consoling you and checking on you.
Yeah.
And then they leave. That would be very sad. I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember bawling. And my mom's like, why are you crying? And I was like, I don't know. I just can't explain it, you know. Because I didn't want to tell her. I didn't know if I should tell her or not, you know, because it felt like they were, you know, it was kind of like when you lose somebody, you know, it felt like I was like losing something, you know, when they weren't there. Because it was like they were so making me sure that things were okay. And yeah.
It probably gave you much more solace than anything else, really.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, my mom still has to work. She's got a life, you know, friends can't really come visit. What are they going to sit and stare at me while I sleep? I don't remember. I don't think I could take any pills, like any pain meds, because I think because of the head trauma, they were like, you can only have this. So it didn't really do anything.
Tylenol.
Tylenol with probably codeine or something,
Yeah.
like here's just a little something. But I mean, my head would throb. Um, yeah, I remember like trying to like the scabs in my staples,
Yep.
I could like wiggle them. And then for years, and it still actually happens, is something, if I'm in my car and something scares me, jolts me, somebody pulls out, whatever, it's like a zing goes right to my head. It's like, zing! This thing
Wow.
lights up like a firecracker.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it's not as intense as it used to be, because when it first happened, people were like, how can you drive? I was like, I'm not going to not drive. Like that's not going to let that control who I am, because I've always wanted to drive.
Right.
But that would happen. Like if I would slide, anything in the car, this whole thing's like just zings.
Wow. So you so you actually have to be home alone? Your mom has to go to work, and is there anybody in the house that like support you?
No.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, she worked 2 jobs, if I remember correctly. So
Wow.
she actually worked at the hospital, which is why I chose that hospital, and then she worked at a hi. This is Spirit.
Spirit. Aw, I love it's beautiful. She's beautiful. Looks a lot like Riley, very modeled, for lots of different colors.
Yeah, lots of colors.
Yep. So so what happens? Your mom goes to work. When do you cross over to the other side?
I think it was in that time frame in my home.
Uh-huh.
I think was when it started. I think it might have happened a little bit in the car.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like so much time lapsed in there while I was stuck in the car.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that was when it really happened. And I think I tried to like step my toe back in when I was home,
So when you cross the other side, what happens?
Well, I remember it being bright.
Uh-huh.
I remember it being really bright and thinking like, this can't be it. This was not the way it was supposed to happen. Like, I was like, no, please. Like, we were going to a party.
Hey, you didn't even think you were dead yet. You're like, yeah, no, we're going to a party. We're not, no, it's
like,
this.
No.
Okay. So what, and so you're on the other side, it's bright. Do you remember anything else about it?
I feel like I remember like the feeling of family around me.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling of like this, almost like a barrier that I needed to cross, like I needed to make a choice, to where like the family was over here and I was over there, and like my life was back here,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I needed to make some kind of decision of what was going on.
And did anybody come talk to you? Did you see any kind of orbs come to you, or
I remember like light beings
mm-hmm.
being there, that were like trying to communicate with me about like, this is your choice, you can choose, it's beautiful over here, it's okay if you come, it's okay if you don't. Like it was this communication going on, but I don't remember like a visual like face. I just remember it just being like, in the movie, what's the one, it just came out, not Up, but it was like with the little girl, and the man that slips and he dies, and then
I don't know if I know.
It recently came out. What is it called? And so it's a tall black guy, and he basically dies, but he wasn't supposed to. And then he goes up to this, the heavens, where like there was these like drawn people, and they all look the same. And yeah, it's an interesting movie.
Oh wait, no. Is it Souls? Was it Souls?
Yeah,
Souls, yes. Yeah. The tall, yeah, he slips and he falls. Excellent. Yep, the Souls.
Yeah.
And that one is a megalomaniac. Yeah.
So I feel like it was kind of like that, not the whole movie, but
right.
Like they all seemed like they were the same thing, kind of telling me the same thing, but almost it was more like a feeling,
mm-hmm.
Of what I don't remember them like talking, but I remember having, this clear understanding of what was there as an option.
And do you feel like, this is interesting to me, so it's going to be a weird question. Do you think that you were in your spirit mind or like your human mind when they were talking to you? Were you still, I know you were saying like, yeah, no, I've got to go to a party. That's where we're going. We're no. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm going to a party. See you later. Bye. Do you feel like it was that kind of a conversation that you were having with them?
No, I think it was a soul conversation. It was a spirit conversation. I think in my mind, I think that's what I wanted, that, we were having fun and we were going out. But that conversation was happening more like in an energetic space.
And what did you take from that conversation with them?
That in the end, it's our choice.
Mm-hmm.
Even if our body has shut down, we can hang on for a long time.
Right.
I feel like that it was our choice, but that I was supposed to be here for something bigger.
Mm.
That wasn't really my time, to go, and that they were watching me, and that they did like, know that the whole thing was going to happen,
And then, so then you just came back after that? You decided to come back, not cross the barrier.
I decided to come back because it felt like I had a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that I had to do. Like, it wasn't that it was like, find which way to choose, but I felt like I just couldn't leave yet. Like, I felt like a responsibility something needed to happen.
So, so did you share this with your mom? Have you shared it with her?
No, I think I've talked to her about the three ghosts in my room, or
Mm-hmm.
spirits, or whatever it was. And I don't think she believed that it was anything. She was like, Kristen, there wasn't anybody in your room. I was like, yeah,
there was. Have you ever done any work for, have you ever done any readings for her, or like, freaked her out with your abilities?
A few times. Like, she refused. She never came to get a massage by me because I would tell her that I could tell what was going on in people's bodies, and so she never would come. She never even set foot in my healing room.
Wow.
And I had a reading with someone, and I told her stuff about her brother, my Uncle Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "No, that's not real," and so she really didn't.
Wow. So you're a change agent for your mom, even though she doesn't know it yet.
Right. Yeah.
She has no clue yet. So how do you feel that this, it's interesting. I know you alluded to it earlier that everybody's life shifted and changed after that moment. How do you feel that your life has shifted and changed?
Well, I think by seeing things, I think there was let's see, how do I think it shifted and changed? I think hang on, let's put my thoughts together. Because I think I feel like I need to like share what I have with people, and I don't think I was thinking that at the time. Like, I used to, I was just a different person, than when I, on the other side, when I came through on the other side. Mm-hmm. Like, I wasn't into the same things. My focus was a lot different. I really wanted to enjoy life. And the Matrix movie came out, and I was like mind blown. I was like, this is it.
Right.
This is it, but not it, but it was it,
Right.
Like, I'd have people come over. I would be like, you have to watch this movie with me. I was like, this is life. Like, this is it. And so that's, I think, what started to change my ways, was that I was very confident in that I have a different path than everyone else, and that life's too short and you got to live it, and all these other things, and that you can make your destiny, even though sometimes it feels like you're not going on the path,
Right.
So I feel like that's what started to shift for me. Like, my attention to life was different.
Which it totally makes sense that you do photography too.
Yeah.
Like, you see the beauty that's probably even more pronounced for you now, because you didn't, things that you looked at before, you have a total different view of now.
Yeah.
So you do massage too. So how can people find you? Where are you doing?
Well, I do massage in Maine. I work out
I
of
know.
a
Well, I'm going to guess that there's going to be some people in Maine who are going to watch this and go, "Hey, I want to go get it." I bet you there might be some people in New Jersey who go, "Hey, I'd like to go up to Maine. It's not that far. Come on."
I go to Jersey quite often. My family's all there.
Ah,
That's where my family lives.
do you do massage there?
I do. I bring my table because I had a clientele base. I just moved back up here last year, so I normally go around and I make my rounds to everybody. So I do portraits. I'll bring my camera because to me, I want things to be an experience, whether it's a massage. Like I like to educate people about what's going on in their body. When it's a photography session, I want it to be like you're going to some kind of event of some sort that you're going to remember. Like I want it to be fun. We're going to make silly jokes. You're going to see your family a different way because I'm going to ask them really crazy questions.
Right.
And we're going to have fun, ultimately have fun. And then you're going to, have all these, my kids acting funny, and you're going to have all these pictures in the end. So that's, and I just get so excited, like my body just jazzes right up when it comes to what I do and offer for people. And I feel like there's still this other sense of me offering my healing work and my spiritual work that I've just moved into this house and I have space to do it here. I can use my drum, I can burn stuff, so now I'm starting to like kind of inch my brain into think like going back to offering some spiritual help with people.
I love that. I have so many ideas and thoughts of us working in the future together. So we're absolutely 1,000,000% meant to have this conversation. Cool. So that's really cool. I definitely am going to make sure that your website or your phone number, how to contact you, would be, prevalent somewhere. So what about everybody else? Did anybody else have an NDE when they were in there, or is it just you?
Well, I think somebody else, well, I'm not sure if they did or didn't. I think even people that were supposed to get in the car changed their lives.
Oh.
Like I had a guy call me and he was like, he sent me some message on Facebook. He goes, "I'm so glad I found you. I've been thinking of you. And I think of you every day on this day." And I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Well, because my son was born that day and I were going out to celebrate. And I couldn't fit in the car. There was too many people in the car." And I was like, so he thinks about it still, and he wasn't even in the car.
Wow.
And one guy, he moved to Colorado and became a pastor.
Uh-huh.
So he was the one in the hatchback.
Oh, is he? He's probably like really, really tuned in to his angels and be like, "Hold on, dude, hold on."
Because like, why would you do that? Why would you just all of a sudden, we've been on the highway for at least a half an hour to be like, if we were in an accident, I probably should hold on and then boom, we crash,
Wow.
Like it within minutes.
Yeah.
And then the girls, there was 2 sisters in the car and their life changed because their parents started taking a liking to their life. They're like, "Wow, we almost lost 2 kids in one car."
Wow.
And so they became involved parents in their life. They were just like, "Oh, we've got kids, whatever." And it was one of their cars.
Wow.
And one of them had like PTSD from it for a really long time. Like she was afraid to actually come see me because like she came for a massage and, we just had this really big conversation about what her experience was on during that day,
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that saw me come out first.
Oh.
She's like, and we were trying to pull you out. She's like, you were out cold in there and we were trying to get you out.
Wow.
She's like, it was terrifying seeing like a ripped head.
Yeah. What did when she was on your table, did you have any experiences that helped her?
Yeah, I think I really helped her out a lot.
Right, you did.
I did. Yeah, I think it really helped her out. And it was really good that she finally came for a massage. She ended up having like fibromyalgia and some other like really big body, because I think she just internalized a lot of trauma from it and internalized it. And so I tried to become an advocate to her, and she ended up having a little girl, and I almost became like the adopted mom for her little
Mm.
girl because she was just so terrified about being a mom.
Oh,
And so I almost became an adopted mom.
wow. That is, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very, like, you have, you, I'm, it's, hmm. They're not there are many people who have who have second chances in life, right? They don't pass of a heart attack, or they don't pass of this, and and they have a chance to really change. And I don't really see this is the cynical side of me. Sometimes you just don't see people take that change.
Right.
But it sounds like with you and all of your friends, you took this life event, this shared life event, and really began to live in a much higher realm with a higher energy.
Yeah, higher energy, more fullness,
Mm-hmm.
more life. I feel like I was really like, life is too short, let's just live it.
Right.
That's this thing. you know
Well, Kristen, I really dig that you took time out of your day to talk to us, and I'm gonna um obviously put your website up. Obviously, that we're not done talking. I'm just going to stop recording.
Okay.
Because I want to have some time with you alone without anybody else and see some other pictures that we're not going to show. And it's really, your presence is incredibly healing and light and energetic. And I think that a lot of people are going to get a lot out of your story.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and who knows, maybe you're the reason why Maine decided, yeah, no, we got to make sure everything's on the road. It's supposed to be on the road.
Yeah.
And I want to say I'm really happy and grateful that nobody died while I mean, obviously you did, but you came back.
Right.
That nobody died while you were in the car, because that's a burden that some people have to live with. And it's good to let them know that there's this other side that is amazing and bright and light, and that you're welcome there.
Yep. Yeah.